everybody. Welcome back to the Damn Yankees podcast, produced by Seven Ashes Productions. It's Monday, December 18th. My name is Megan. That's my brother Ryan. And over there is our baseball dummy, Cliff.
We obviously haven't done this in a minute.
We obviously have not done this in a minute. I just looked, and the last time we did this was before Thanksgiving. So it has been a minute because it's almost Christmas.
Yes.
So,
One week away.
Yes, it is. Yeah, hopefully my shopping's not done. I gotta get it done this week. So, but yeah. So the Yankees gave us all an early Christmas present, at least for the 2024 season, and they traded for Juan Soto. Yay!
Oh, I thought the Christmas present was Alex Verdugo.
Oh God, no, that was not a Christmas. And I thought that was a joke when they said that he was traded. So yeah, but like the day before, 2 days before they got Soto, they announced a trade for Verdugo, and we're apparently trying to get Verdugo for a while. So everything we said about, I guess, how preposterous a trade with trading him to the Yankees would be.
I mean, we felt it was preposterous, to be fair, that Gleyber Torres was in those conversations. Obviously, I'm very glad that that was not the case. I think what did we send them?
Nothing that I remember. Greg Weissert, I think, and a couple of other
that's right.
minor league players that I don't.
I was like, I remember it being a pitcher who was like up and down a lot. Yeah, it was Greg Weissert.
Yeah, he had a good mustache. And Weissert was decent.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he got called up a few times and did what he had
two other like right-handed relievers, I think, is what we.
Yeah, I mean, he's a left-handed bat. He gives us another outfield option. I mean, he's not the best defender in the world, but he makes good contact, something the Yankees don't do too often. Had a really ugly beard that he had to get rid of.
He shaved it off, and that was my cue of, I guess he is staying, and he's not like a trade bait for something else to just flip him over. I don't know. I just don't see him fitting with the Yankees, but
it'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't know.
I do think he looks like a ton better without his beard. I know there was everything going around Twitter.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody does not agree with you. Yeah.
I don't know why his beard was the most scraggly, ugly looking thing in the world. We can have our conversation about the Yankees beard policy, but like for Alex Verdugo specifically, that was and he looks so much better. Not that he looks great, but he still looks a little.
Poor Alex Verdugo.
He looks like a baby. His face looks like a baby.
I saw a lot of people too thought that he was still wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. That's why he turned it backwards. I thought that was kind of funny, but I was like, I don't know. The Yankees are typically the ones who color the MLB logo blue and gray, don't they?
Yeah, usually. I wouldn't think it would be blue and gray on the Red Sox
Boston's, yeah. So anyway, so Verdugo was the first trade, but obviously the bigger outfield trade was getting Soto and Grisham, Trent Grisham.
Yes, that was actually quietly really good on the Yankees' part to get him too.
Yeah, again, and Grisham's kind of Verdugo. He's a really good outfielder. Another lefty, but can't hit his way out of a paper bag. So, basically, he's going to be their guy who's going to be, not as good of. I think he's worse of a hitter than Bader. I think, can at least play the outfield and hit on a regular day-to-day basis. But it seems like Grisham, from what it looks like, is probably going to be a defensive replacement. But the big deal is getting Soto. Sadly, we lost Michael King in the process.
Yes, but props to Brian Cashman, to the headliner to get Juan Soto, a generational talent, is Michael King. I think that is commendable and very good. We are happy. You should have done it, but it was clearly
now he needs to.
Everybody, but
now he actually needs to sign him.
Yes, next step. And I don't think we scheduled to talk about this, but the Ohtani signing opens up worlds of options for possible creativity with a Juan Soto contract.
Yes. Yeah. So real quick, because I don't know why we didn't think about talking about the Ohtani
I just
thing,
realized
but
we didn't. Yeah.
Obviously the big news was Ohtani signed for a $700 million deal for 10 years. And initially we were all like, wow, that's ridiculous. I mean, he's going to be getting paid $70 million for the next 10 years.
Was like, do you think they'll break 600 million? And they come out and they're like, yes. And it's 700, by the way.
Yeah. And then bigger news was broke later on, in which everybody confused everybody. For the next 10 years, Soto is only going to get paid $2 million every year by the Dodgers. Sorry. Ohtani is going to be paid $2 million by the Dodgers next 10 years, and then $68 million for the next 10 years after that. So he's going to be on Dodger payroll for 20 years. He's the new and improved Bonnie Vanilla.
Right. Yeah, now we'll have Shohei Ohtani Day instead of.
And apparently allows him to get away with the not having to pay California state tax. Like that $68 million will be paid to him without.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he can move to where he needs to move without that state tax getting in the way.
Oh, I did hear this. I think somebody did clarify he'd have to move somewhere within the United States, but he'll probably just move to Arizona where there's no state tax, and then he can claim his money and then move to.
If it's 10 years later, he can move wherever he wants. He doesn't need to stay.
I don't know. I didn't quite understand it. It was somebody was trying to explain some tax thing and saying no, he couldn't just leave the country. He would have to.
I'm sure that Arizona would make sense because of he wants to be on the West Coast so that he can get back to Japan easier.
And I don't think it would be like a permanent thing. It would just be like, here I am, so I can get my payment, and then
like a lot of rich people do. They just have multiple houses and
so he cracked the system, and good for his lawyers for actually understanding the bargaining agreement between the Players Association and MLB, because it's completely legal. It's not even a loophole.
It just feels like
there's
it shouldn't
a rule that says there's no limit to how much money can be deferred to after the contract. So Ohtani said, "Okay, I'll get paid $2 million a year because I get $40 million in endorsement money." Sorry, I was going to say free agent money.
Between ASICs and I'm sure other so many deals that he's
Japan
got,
and everywhere, and so he is uniquely in a position to accept only quote unquote $2 million a year and defer $68 million a year, and I guess. That equates to $46 million for AAV that the Dodgers have to pay. So it works out for them to be able to, lighten the load on their luxury tax qualifiers, and allows
they'll be paying for
hunting.
it in the future, but
certainly. But AAV wise, it is on the books as $46 million. So that's what
it loosens the deal a bit for him.
So the whole reason to bring that up is to say, hey, well, then there should be no reason that the Yankees can't get at least a little creative. Maybe not as creative as this, but
I don't think you can get that creative, but it'll be. I think $600 million is within reason, given Soto's age. Boris is his agent, and given his age, I mean, he's 25. I think. So, I mean, you can offer him easily 15 years, 6 Judge's AAV contract right there, keeps him in that realm. I don't know if he'll go for that because he might want more than Judge, but, maybe they do a little bit more than that and make it backloaded so that way it's more when inflation goes up. I don't know.
Yeah, but it is interesting. I mean, Judge.
There's definitely ways to be creative.
Yeah, like Judge is also a generational talent, obviously, and he was skilled enough to get his bag the year after he hit 62 home runs,
right?
And so it'll be interesting to see what kind of year Soto has. I mean, it's all good for the Yankees. Please work for that. Please work to have a bigger contract than Aaron Judge. I would love that. Like if you had a better, that kind of season to justify, to justify it. Gosh, that sounds like he hasn't been amazingly good up to this point, but this year will matter too. So
Oh yeah, I mean everything.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I'm hoping that they do re-sign him. It's definitely going to need to be something that he needs to do. Cashman needs to do.
Yeah. Well, and I think so. I mean, Soto kind of seems like not. I mean, Scott Boras is never going to let him really tell anybody where he wants to go after this year, but he's very quickly changed all his, social media stuff to Yankee things. He shares all the little like fan made.
Yeah, someone made a fan made one of him hitting a home run and it switching into a Yankee jersey. It's pretty good edit.
It was pretty good edit. I liked it, and he put that on his Instagram, and so like he seems like all in. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't completely 100% listen to extension offers for with the Yankees, and I mean I'm sure that's absolutely. If it's not, they're idiots. But at least this whole trade has made me have a little bit more faith in our front office and how. And I don't. Did you hear that Hal was the one that was really pushed Cashman to approve, because it was King and Thorpe.
Thorpe.
Yeah, Drew Thorpe, who's like one of our top prospects for pitchers. Mm-hmm. And then King, who showed at the end of the year that he can be a pretty damn good starter. Yeah. And they stretched him out. And I think, some people, if you really want to get optimistic on Brian Cashman, they're saying like front office did that on purpose to kind of highlight Michael King as like, look how good he is. We'll give him to you for Juan Soto. Look at all of these fun, look at what he's doing.
Things he can do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and I feel remiss without saying we also lost Kyle Higashioka in the trade to get Soto.
The one who caught the perfect game.
Yes, his perfect game.
Kyle Higashioka's perfect game.
Yes, he was with the Yankees for.
There was no one else a part of that.
Yeah, there's no one else. We don't need to mention the other one a part of it. But yeah, Higashioka was part of the. He also caught a no-hitter by Kluber, right? That was the one he caught. Yep, and he's been in the organization for 10 years. I don't think he got to the majors until maybe 16 or 17, but. He's been around for a long time. So seeing him go is a little sad. I mean, it's not like it was losing a lot of production, but it is losing nice leadership. And he all the pitchers,
nice guy
appreciate
too.
him behind the plate. Play
but
guitar.
I mean, Wells is getting. I mean, he's a rookie, but he's 28 years old. It's time to.
That's true.
Let him show what he can do because we're gonna need more production from that catcher position. I'm really glad that
Higgy was able to help us get Juan Soto. Like, that's really cool. Thank you. Nice little send off. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So
also in that trade. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Also in the trade was Johnny Brito. And was there somebody else? I feel like we're missing one person.
I think it was 4. It was a 4-for-2 trade.
4? Okay. So that's it. So it was Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Kyle Higashioka, and Johnny Brito.
Yep. We lose Burrito.
Randy Vasquez.
There was a 5th one.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I thought there were 2 like lower end pitchers that were included, but yeah. So
and so I mean that's going to go into probably our next part, but in order to make it really worth it, I mean obviously we didn't have to give as much of a haul as we could have if it was maybe last year or. A trade with the Nationals when he was being moved from the Nationals to the Padres. The Padres had to give up a lot more to get Soto 3 years ago than 2 years ago.
Well, from the sounds of it, the Padres wanted, exactly.
Even more.
From the sound of it, they wanted more back. Like they kind of wanted what they sent to Washington. It's from the sound of it. And I mean, I guess that's how negotiations go, but it was like, really, it's 1 year. You can't expect to get everything.
Yeah. So to make that trade even more worth it, Cashman needs to finish the job and re-sign him because
if we remember, we thought he was going to have to send off Rizzo or Glaber.
Yeah,
so
and he didn't have to do either of those. So great trade, but sign
absolutely.
him.
But finish the
job.
Yes, thank you. I was like, well, finish the job. We need him to sign an extension. We need him to be a Yankee forever, and then I'll buy the jersey.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I already bought his jersey. It's totally a real nameplate and everything. I was definitely not on record saying that I really wanted everybody to know that I bought a Bader jersey. I was not on record saying that.
No, never. I never heard you say that at all. It was nameless jerseys are the
nameless
way to go.
jerseys are the way to go.
Yeah.
Anybody who buys a name on the back of their jersey is ridiculous because it's just silly.
Yeah, it certainly worked out for those that already have a Jacoby Ellsbury, Roger Clemens, Bader, nameless of any of those. Probably other ones that I'm forgetting about, 22s, but they're already selling them for a whopping $135 for and it's like over $300. I didn't realize it was that much for the like replica authentic one or whatever.
Yeah. But I don't even like that's a debate now coming up too. I don't like the replica authentic one as much.
Thing.
It's like those jerseys are meant to be tucked in. Like
it is authentic. I get that. Like that's what the players wear, but it's like, but I'm not tucking in the jersey, so I don't need that part. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy with this one. It's not too much different than the other. So
yeah, and, it did a pretty good letter.
I did the best I could.
Back. Yeah, it did pretty good. It looks very good. Passable from a distance.
It definitely does not look like it's duct tape and Sharpie. Just
no, not at all.
Scribbled on together. But yeah, so Soto was a big move.
Huge acquisition, and re-signing him would mean so much. The next however many years you would give Soto for his contract would be just amazing for an aging Judge. That's fine. We've got Soto in the outfield. Don't worry about it. So let's get it done. It'd be nice. I don't really have. I guess we've been wishing for Soto for so long. I don't have anything else. I'm just glad it got done, and still a little bit of disbelief that we even have him. So.
So I was trying to go through. I keep getting this call. I had to block. Some number kept calling me about 7 times. So
geez, that's
a little
annoying.
Distracting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I keep looking and nothing yet on the. There's obviously the Yankees wanted Soto, but there was obviously another Christmas present that the Yankees wanted to receive, and he just has not said nothing.
Yeah. Oh, breaking news. Former Yankees hitting coach. No.
Oh, sorry. I did see that. Dylan Lawson is with the Red Sox.
With the Red Sox, yeah.
I was like, are you serious?
No, sorry. I just saw that pop up and was like, that's not the news I'm looking for. So obviously we are anxiously awaiting, trying to figure out what's going on with Yamamoto and to finish our Soto Christmas. So we want Yamamoto to help round out our rotation that we thought was going to be amazing at the beginning of last year. That turned out to be, hanging on by a thread. That was Garrett Cole. So Yamamoto would be a great addition, but there's rumors all around that he's been asking for upwards of over like 300 million
plus.
From a club, and
I lost you.
But then today, Jeff Passan said, "Don't worry about all those. That's bullshit. That has no. Those rumors come from nowhere." That's what he said. So I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on, but something could happen as early as today. He said. So Jeff Passan is the king when it comes to trade rumors. When he speaks, you listen.
Only listen to anybody like John or Joe
Morosi or
Morosi. Is it John Morosi?
Yeah. Oh, that was the guy with the Ohtani thing, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Ohtani is on his way to Toronto, and it turns out to be the Shark Tank
lights all day. Poor Toronto Blue Jays. If I didn't dislike them, so much, I wouldn't find it as funny.
Yeah. So I mean, the Yamamoto thing is going to be an interesting part because that's the Yankees' biggest.
They really want him. They
really want him. Apparently, they like him both as a player and as a person.
Nice. That's always good.
And so, I mean, when you're talking things like that, that kind of shows that you want him. But so do the Mets. Part part of the reason why the Dodgers did all the things that they did with Ohtani is because they want Yamamoto too.
Gotcha.
So
yes, I'm sure that's
and we all know Cohen doesn't mind spending.
No, he had him over for dinner, Yamamoto, apparently, so he could be part of the family. And then he had another meeting with the Yankees, though, so right after that. And then
and that he requested.
But then it also came out that he also requested every second meeting that he's had. So who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Who knows what's going to happen?
It'd be really
it's one of those things, this is exactly why, like with the Ohtani thing, why he wanted everything to be private, right? Because all the people do is just kind of when one person is going to say, "Yep, he really wants to be here," the next person's like, "He doesn't really want to be there."
Right. And then and then you get at one point with the Soto stuff, we were getting my friends. I have a friend that's friends with Juan Soto's father, who says that Soto really that this trade is getting really close and blah 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 or something. It was like that we're at that point. That's where we're at. We're a friend of a friend's father, and so
So
I'm sure we'll get there with Yamamoto too at some point.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. I mean even now, like I keep refreshing X to find out what's going on there.
Yeah.
Is something going to come up? Is passing going to say something? Because there's a lot at stake. If they don't sign him, where do they go from there?
Yeah.
Because the contract is getting high. I mean, I've heard someone say that the Mets were offering $400 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean that's steep. Like how high is too high for the Yankees? Like how high if we find out the Mets sign him for X dollars a year, where do we say, you know what?
Yeah.
It sucks, but okay. Like
I do feel like there's got to be a ceiling there somewhere. Like this isn't Juan Soto. We're not like he hasn't thrown a major league pitch. He might be amazing. He is he's amazing in the Japanese league. His ERA is like under 2, right? So threw a no-hitter recently.
It's something really good. Perfect game, I thought, didn't he? Or
perfect game. You're right. No, it was a perfect game. I think you're
Cashman
right.
went and watched himself.
Was there. Yeah. So I get the hype, but I'm like, it's a lot of money to pump the brakes. Yeah,
it's a lot of money to give for 10 years of somebody who you don't know how they're going to do.
Yeah, even the over 300 rumors. Ooh, okay, like that was around the time. Like, okay, I could see that, but ooh,
I mean, just to show how far it's come. I mean, I put down what I thought it could go early on. And this was a round where other people thought too was 8 years, $200 million. We're almost
right.
These rumors are true.
Yeah, $400 million. I mean, I think personally, $400 million. That's just got to be Steve Cohen throwing his money around.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth that?
And that better be at least 10 years, because if it's not, then you're talking about more money than Judge, and I'm not going to pay someone who hasn't played in Major League Baseball more money than Judge. I'm certainly, to me, if that AAV goes over Cole, I'm not paying him more than Cole, the guy who just won Cy Young.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it too. And people, oh my God, is Soto? Is Judge going to be okay if Soto makes more than him? Probably.
I don't think Judge cares.
And that's a different conversation.
But that's different. Soto is young. We've known what he produces.
We know how he pitches, how he performs against Major League pitching. So I think that's a completely different conversation.
Paul is close to his re-signing too.
Right, that's true.
So if you're going to pay Yamamoto more, he can do his yap out.
Yapped out.
He can do his opt out this year.
Oh, it's at the end
after
of this
season,
and then the Yankees can counter and be like, okay, but we'll tack on another year and give you more money, right? That's the.
I think so. That's a weird one of those multi-layered option deals.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. If he opts out, the Yankees can throw another option at him for having that additional year, more money at the end of the contract. So I don't, but I think that's a fair point. You pay Yamamoto more than Garrett Cole. I mean, I know we've just kind of reset a lot of the pay structure with Ohtani, but he's also Ohtani. Like, I don't think we can put Yamamoto in the same realm as
Ohtani. He doesn't. Let me know when Yamamoto hits 404 to 50 home runs a season kind of player when he gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this man, the Ohtani is like, okay, all right, I'll just DH next year. I can't really
he
pitch.
Can't pitch at all because he has to have Tommy John surgery, but he's just going to hit.
Don't worry. Yeah, so he's pretty valuable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't, the Yamamoto stuff is for one moment I feel really confident, and then the next, oh god, the only thing I'm confident on really is that the Yankees really want Yamamoto, and
on top of this though, the big news that not big news, I guess, but it's nice to hear is that no matter what, pitching will stay the Yankees' top priority. Apparently, I forget who said it, but one of the Yankee people, it could have been Heyman, but said that pitching is number one priority. And so if the Yankees, Yamamoto, if he becomes too expensive, if they just cannot match the deal that another team might give them, they are going to go after pitchers. So it'd be interesting to see where they pivot to. I've heard a lot of different names. Biggest one I think is Dylan Cease.
Agreed. I mean, I wouldn't hate that option, to be honest. I mean, we'd have to trade for Dylan Cease. Right?
Yes, Dylan Cease would have to be a trade. Another big name that's out there, I don't know if the Yankees are linked to him. This is kind of one of those things, and we'll get into Bellinger later, but I think we talked about it last time that like a deal like Bellinger is going to have to wait until Soto goes somewhere because like I think the Yankees weren't in on Bellinger.
Yeah, we learned that from Curry, I guess. They didn't even wasn't part of their plans. Yeah.
But if Soto doesn't go to the Yankees, if let's say a different team traded for him,
then maybe they pivot.
Then pivot to Bellinger. In the same sense, right? A person like Blake Snell, who isn't he the NL Cy Young winner? He is another guy who's probably on like that. His agent is saying we are going to wait to make a deal until Yamamoto signs somewhere because Yamamoto goes to the Dodgers. I would hope the Yankees would, if their top priority is pitching. Hey, we already have the AL Cy Young. Let's add in the NL Cy Young winner.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty awesome. I also heard that even if we do get Yamamoto, that they're still trying to add.
They'll still need pitchers.
Yeah, but
it won't be a top name.
Imagine. You got your top. I think if you get Yamamoto, you're getting a filler, and you're either getting probably 1 year of Montas, maybe, or bolstering up the bullpen for those kind of starters.
Right.
Bullpen things. Yeah.
I've heard that like getting like a Shane Bieber and a Montas would be a cheap option, but Shane Bieber is such a big downgrade from getting Yamamoto. Like if we're not going to get Yamamoto, I prefer it to be someone like Cease, someone like Snell, someone like Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. He'd be like my third of those options, but he's a young guy who's got a lot of talent. Like I would prefer it to be someone who can be a true number two, not a Shane Bieber who only won a Cy Young in a shortened season. I mean, not to say that those awards didn't mean anything, just he didn't have a full season. Like anybody can be a really great pitcher for 2 months, and he has not proved to be a good pitcher for an entire year.
Full season, I'd be pretty low on Bieber for the same thing, and he hasn't had a stellar season.
And I've heard that he's kind of a locker room problem.
Oh, we don't need that. Oh, had enough locker room problems last year.
Unless I'm thinking of it could be a different Guardians pitcher, but I'm pretty sure I remember thinking about, Bieber would be a cool guy to bring in, and then hearing like, you don't want
maybe
Bieber.
Not. I mean, I think Snell would be a really great, option B without Yamamoto. I also think Monty could be also from if we get Yamamoto, Monty could be a nice, and I mean Montgomery not Montas. Right. Montgomery could be a nice addition to, but I imagine what they would do is look at maybe giving Montas a 1 year, prove it,
Yeah. It would be great to get Jordan Montgomery back. I think the Yankees did him pretty dirty throughout that process. I still don't think that he wants to be a Yankee. Yankees really need to look hard and deep into their pitching analysis group that decided to tell Jordan Montaz not to pitch his, or not Montas, Jordan Montgomery not to pitch his fastball and his sinker because he's proved with Texas that it works.
Yeah, I agree.
And there was somebody else who recently was talking, I forgot who, but someone else was talking about how he would say that, this is the pitches that work for me. And the Yankees analysis group would say, no, we still want you to pitch this in that situation. Even if it ends up being like a grand slam home run, well, the data tells us that this should work. Like this guy was, I don't remember, I wish I could remember the name, but a guy was basically saying what we all keep saying is that they don't care about what.
Wrong numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even Cole said the same thing that Aaron Judge has said too, that they're looking at the wrong numbers. He'd like to see them look at some different ones. I forget which one he said, but I think it's clear to the players that the focus is in
things are not working. Things are not.
You don't want to listen to fans. That's fine, but I feel like you should listen to Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole.
Absolutely. And so I think that is one. If Montgomery is going to come back, I'm sure he's going to want some assurances that, hey, look, I have my own data proof that what I did in Texas worked. So don't tell me it doesn't work. Don't tell me it doesn't work.
I don't like it
because
so much because it's
like somebody else was like, was that the problem? Like, I mean, Chapman had his own issues, personal locker room issues, but was that the problem with Chapman? I mean, Chapman wasn't his old self, but he was hitting 104 with the Royals and the Rangers.
Yeah.
Last year, he was not hitting 104 and dotting it in the strike zone with us.
No, I would, because the Rangers won the World Series. I think memory becomes shorter. There were a couple of pitches.
And there was
could have
definitely
gone the other way,
and
it could have been, there's Chapman's curse again, or I mean,
absolutely, I mean, there was definitely moments where I remember us texting, being like, Chapman's still Chapman.
There it goes. Yeah. I think there was one hit to like way deep center field somewhere, and I was like, oh my God, that was inches from
but
just him blowing a
his numbers were definitely better. And so is that part of it? Is it part of it that the Yankees want to tell a guy who can throw 105 miles an hour, hey, you should just throw a slider more
to
often?
Get cute with his pitches? Yeah, that's true.
So, I think that there's going to have to be changes there in general, but also if Montgomery's going to have to come back, he's going to have some assurance.
Don't mess with what my success.
Don't mess with what I've proved that I can do.
And I agree. Like those, for that reason, a Monty reunion is probably unlikely. Yeah.
Along with all these names, because a couple of these names we've mentioned as trades, like Dylan Cease, a guy who doesn't really need to do a whole lot of shaving to be a part of the Yankees. He's going to have to be traded because he's with the White Sox. I think he has 2 years of control, which is nice too. So, kind of slightly moving on, but still within that topic. If we go to Cease, are we going to trade Peraza for Cease? Like, let's say we get Yamamoto. What do we do with Peraza? Because he doesn't have an option left.
Yeah.
He can't go back to the minors.
Yeah. So, and, there's an interview with Brian Cashman basically saying there's no place for Peraza. I'm not really sure why you would say that. I feel like that cheapens your trade value when, because people know you have to move him. But regardless, I think we have to move him. And that's what it seems like to me. It seemed that obvious last year too, though. So I don't know. A lot of times I feel like Brian Cashman keeps his trade values too high and doesn't want to get rid of something. This offseason has Lee showed us that Hal can push him into getting rid of some people he doesn't normally want to get rid of.
Hal told him and Randy Levine to check their egos at the door. That there are things that we've got to do.
Yeah, small tangent, but the Yankees did send Trey Sweeney, who's a top prospect of ours, he's a shortstop though, to the Dodgers for
another shortstop and Victor Gonzalez.
Yeah, well, Horbit Vivas.
I was going to say I couldn't remember his name. I just knew he was another.
But yeah, he's a second baseman apparently, but he's in the minors. I think he's in Double-A.
Right. He's a year younger than Trey Sweeney.
Yeah.
I don't think that he is ranked above Trey Sweeney, but his numbers in
I think he's
minor league were better.
He was like the number 8 prospect with the Dodgers, but when he came over here, he was still. Trey Sweeney was also ranked number 10 in our club.
But I think he was in the overall MLB ranks. He was lower.
Lower than Trey Sweeney was.
But he's younger and better, so I don't know how the rankings go. I know that part of it is like expected values of speed, power, defense, all these different. So, you might have a good season, but you might be tapping at like close to your max of what people believe you can do.
Yeah, your ceiling, and where someone else's ceiling might be a bit higher and they're just not there yet.
Basically, you do a 1-for-1 swap with an addition of a decent lefty bullpen arm.
With the additional knowledge that Trey Sweeney has no spot and there's no future with the Yankees if Anthony Volpe is our shortstop. So, and they pretty much said that yes, Anthony Volpe is our shortstop. So
he was another one in the Soto conversations that never.
That didn't.
People kept saying should Volpe get moved too? I don't know if it ever came out that the Yankees were discussing it, but I'm sure the Padres asked.
Yeah, I'm sure they asked, and I bet the Yankees just shut it down real quick. Moving Trey Sweeney is an example of Brian Cashman actually sending off a high-ranked prospect for, at least internally, highly ranked prospect that has no future with the Yankees, who, we were high on. Like, has a great ceiling, great future probably for us, but not for the Yankees if Anthony Volpe's in his way. So, he traded him away for stuff we needed now and maybe in the future. Gleyber's contracts only has this year left on it, right? Mm-hmm. So, who knows? But, so, anyway, just giving Cashman his little, kudos where they're due when we scream at him for not to prospect hug.
Right.
People were.
And to be fair for Cashman,
Trey Sweeney.
I was going to say, to be fair to Cashman, the Yankee fans still were beating on him, and it's like, this is why the Yankee organization laughs at the fans because fans react no matter what. Like the Yankee fans just get mad at everything.
We're emotional?
Like
what? No. Yeah. That's why Brian Cashman comes out and starts yelling about how I think we have a good team and gets all defensive. But so just to say that he did do that. So I think I interrupted what we were talking about, but
it's just kind of in the same vein. Peraza is in that boat. I mean, he had a really good 2021 when we brought him up for the last 18 games of the season. He hit very well. He filled into good spots with IKF. Not doing then, 21. 22? You're right, 22.
I was like,
okay.
Sorry. That's okay.
Sorry. 22. Yeah. Came in the end of 2022, filled in where IKF was struggling in the postseason, had some good moments, but he didn't prove it. Like, he had, by far, the advantage over Volpe coming into spring training. And Volpe still won the lock and key job where he played the most games of any Yankee last season.
Oh, yeah, he did. You're
that's
right.
A rookie. He played the most games of any
so the Yankees can do it. They can do it. They can.
Yes. So, He's the guy, and I know people really love to try to move Volpe over to second, even though he's a Gold Glove finalist and all this.
Yeah,
he didn't win, right?
I don't. No, he did win.
He did win. Yeah.
He did win.
So
yeah,
and I remember it was so funny seeing Yankee fans pissed about it. I'm like,
why are you mad?
Shut up!
Like he's not that good. Like he is good. Like that.
Like yeah, it's just people who really want Peraza to be at. Volpe to move over to second and then trade off Torres because Torres is just like this player apparently. Like
I just like Peraza that you can. There's an argument that we maybe didn't see full Peraza because of how much he went up and down.
Up and down,
year.
Absolutely.
But when he did have a stretch, I don't remember what part of the season it was. He got to play for a few consecutive games.
I remember, yeah. And he was he never cracked 200. And I'm not saying that he can't be good. If the Yankees are believing in him, then you need to find a good role for him. But you need to move him because his trade value has gone down.
Yeah, right. I agree. And yeah, his height was last year. We should have traded him last year.
Absolutely.
At the end of
as soon as you decided that Volpe was the guy, I get maybe not doing it earlier than spring training, but as soon as you during spring training said, "Yep, Volpe's our guy,"
start shopping around at the beginning of the year because
we need to start moving you.
Place and
and this is even for you, Peraza. Look, we don't got a spot for you. I'm sorry.
He deserves to play. You
deserve to play.
He is an MLB player. Like he should be in the majors. So I think it'd be fair for him too.
And the more that we don't move him, and I don't know what they're going to do this year because again, unless they are planning just to keep him on the bench as a backup to DJ, you have to move him or else he gets DFA'd and then anybody can get him.
Well, yeah, something would need to happen with the two Oswalds, right? Oswaldo or Oswald need to be moved. Yeah. Like I know Cabrera has options, so that maybe isn't, but you can't have both of them. So, because you've got DJ who has a spot in the infield.
Because you say he is our starting third baseman. Now,
even though he's the one that roams and gives everybody a break, but
oh, sorry, I got a Jeff. But it was just Tom Murphy signed with the Giants. He's a catcher.
That's boring. We don't care about that.
Shut up. Tell me about Yamamoto.
Announce Yamamoto. Yeah. No.
Yeah, so I mean there's gonna be something that needs to be done with somebody on the team, whether it be Oswaldo Cabrera or Oswald Peraza.
Get more if you send Oswald Peraza somewhere, and
because at least Cabrera can be that utility guy. We're not bringing back IKF. I think IKF signed with the Dodgers, didn't he? Or the Dodgers just interested in him?
Maybe the Dodgers are just interested. I hadn't heard that they signed him, but I might be missing something.
Yeah, I think they're interested.
Okay. Yeah, I think I heard that too.
Still, we're probably not going to get him. So, we're not going to get IKF back, which is fine. I don't think he should come back, but
I don't think whatever they'd have to pay him.
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. I'm glad he had a good year last year, a little bit of a redemption arc, but I don't think it makes much sense.
So, something's going to need to happen with Peraza. Hopefully they trade him. Hopefully they have a team out there that is willing to make a move, someone who is desperate for a shortstop. Offhand, I really don't know of a team that is desperate for shortstops other than maybe the Boston Red Sox, but I don't know if we want to move him. We wouldn't want to move him there.
Right. No.
But they're a team they're the first team I could think of that are probably desperate for shortstops. But they got to move him. They have to do something with him.
Yeah, get something for his talent.
Because it would suck if he turned into another Diego Garcia or really, what
he can't rot away in the minors because he has no option. So
right.
is he going to ride the bench and you're going to wait? I don't know. And maybe
is
they have a plan that I'm just not thinking of.
Is he going to be a Miguel Andujar then? Like, somebody who just,
Cliff, can you hear Ryan?
Did you freeze again? Yeah, you're frozen too.
Oh, hey, there you are. Okay.
Oh, there we are. All right.
All right.
Well, anyway, maybe that's the internet telling us to move on from Peraza.
Yes.
But
so Cliff was also telling us to move on, but yeah.
So we talked a little bit about. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just saying. Yeah, long story short, Peraza probably needs to move, or he's riding the bench as a utility infielder, and we don't know where Waldo goes. But yeah.
So I think kind of just to wrap it up, we already talked a little bit about this before, but where does Bellinger go? He was a guy that I was very high on. I've been high on him for the Yankees for the last 2 years, but obviously Soto was priority. I think we said before that, if it means not being able to get both, obviously I'm choosing Soto over Bellinger. And so the Yankees have no interest in Bellinger anymore. Kind of on that same level, like that Yamamoto is on free agency wise, that he started off at like expected $200 million, and now that's up to like $300 million to $400 million. I think Bellinger was expected to get in the neighborhood of $150 million, and now that's also raised to almost $250 million. And
I haven't really heard too many people, too many rumors about.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of
interested.
News.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Cubs are, I guess, still
interested.
But it doesn't seem like there's, like a lot of movement at all. His agent just posted like a hitting, like him doing a hitting drill.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that he's still working and he still looks pretty good? Please sign him.
I've heard that the Angels were considering signing him. I'd feel bad if he ended up with the Angels.
Same.
And then I've heard that the Blue Jays might be in on him.
The Blue Jays that seems like a good fit. It seems like it would work.
It seems like it makes sense too, just because they missed out on Ohtani, which I don't even know if they really missed out on him or if
how close
Ohtani was using them as leverage.
Yeah.
But they obviously were willing to pay money for Ohtani, so maybe they'd be willing to pay money for Bellinger. I've heard somewhere from probably like a Heyman or somebody, a Curry or whoever, might have been talking about it, that he wants in the neighborhood of 10 years. And which I think before we started talking, which makes sense. I mean, he's 28 years old. You don't want a contract to end in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
That's why so many of these players who are close to 30 years old are getting these 10-year deals, because they want guaranteed money till they retire. Yeah. They do not want to have a contract that ends when they're too old.
Right, yeah. Your contract ends when you're 34, 35 years old. Good luck getting... Yeah.
I was going to say, you end up like a Brett Gardner, who, though Brett Gardner was a little bit older than that, like, no team, like the Yankees, they didn't re-sign him. I think the Blue Jays talked to him, but he didn't want to go there, which good on Gardner, but...
Yankee for life.
Part of it, is that he wasn't going to get a lot of money even from the Blue Jays because he's old.
He's old. And you're especially if you're Brett Gardner, your speed declines rapidly in your mid-30s. And I mean, your skill. So Bellinger is looking out for himself, wants a 10-year contract, so that way he can have that contract through 38, 39 years old. And
when he's ready to retire and be...
Yeah.
Or sign a 1-year or 2-year deal after that's done or whatever. however his career has ended up. But I also can see why a lot of teams are hesitant on giving someone like him 10 years. He's had one decently good season. I mean, it was a very good season for most players, but for a guy who was a former NL MVP, those numbers his numbers still weren't close to his MVP season. I think the biggest thing that he did hit for contact very well, but Wrigley Field is a average friendly ballpark, a batting average friendly ballpark, but not a home run ballpark. So that could have gone into why his numbers were lower in slugging percentage. But regardless, his numbers weren't that great to give him the money that he wants. So I can see why teams are like, you've had one good season versus you've had 2 or 3 seasons were pretty bad. Yeah. So
it is kind of a risk on their part.
I could definitely see the Blue Jays though making that jump. They are desperate to be successful in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean
they haven't been to this point.
And if you're the Blue Jays, you at least to the 2024 season need to answer back in some way to the Yankees getting Juan Soto. I mean,
yeah. And to kind of put the bad, vibes, I guess, that are going on where you didn't get Soto or Ohtani either.
Yeah. You kind of can't do nothing now. You need to do, I imagine they will have to do something because Kiermaier's a free agent. So, right, they have a spot.
They have a spot for him, and I think it makes sense for him to go there. But it'll be interesting with Bellinger. I expected something a lot quicker once Soto was traded.
So I think that's the most telling thing about his contract right now is just that. Yeah, I think we all expected him to go a lot sooner, him to be in the more mix of rumors and things like that, and it's just been pretty quiet. So.
And then one final thing, just because while we're talking about it, reminded me of another minor thing that we could bring up is we talked about maybe Bellinger goes to the Angels, but maybe the Angels should be getting rid of one of their other center fielders. We've talked about it before with Trout, but seriously, dude.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's time.
Yeah, you gave it your all. I feel like it's certainly acceptable to go to a real playoff contender. The Angels can't be a playoff contender now for the next how many years? I mean, they got rid of so much of their farm system.
Yeah, they got so much of their farm system just to get rid of it 2 months later.
Yeah, just to get rid of everything they acquired. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like like I said before, the Yankees they swept the Yankees and thought they were much better than they were and forgot the Yankees were terrible last year and just went on really spent badly. And so I agree. Mike Trout, totally okay. Find a new home. You deserve to be in the playoffs. I think I saw someone say a meme and it was like Andy Pettitte and Mike Trout have the same number of RBIs in the playoffs. 1. Andy Pettitte is a pitcher for anybody who doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, it sucks that somebody who's so generationally great at baseball to be getting into his closing in on his mid-30s. I think he's only 32, but still, that window is not getting any bigger.
Combined with his back problems, I mean, he's an injury-prone kind of.
I mean, there's been rumors that Trout may not be able to play past 35 because of his back problems.
Yeah, I mean, there was some genetic issue that they thought.
Yeah, they were thinking that it could have been completely done last year or something. I remember it coming up where they were very concerned.
They were and it luckily turned out to not be
as bad as they thought, but it's still something.
Yeah.
So I would be, if I were him, I'd be like, hey, send me to Philly.
And then at least, I mean, I feel like it would be good for both the Angels and Trout. Trout goes
move on.
Trout goes to Philly, and the Angels get some
pieces.
MLB ready pieces back and or more, bolster their farm back up. But
I mean, I've heard that like Nick Castellanos could fit in there, and then add in a couple of prospects to refill your minor league after what you did to the team last year and restart.
Yeah, you got to do something. I mean, I feel bad for Angel fans, really, honestly.
Yeah. So on top of that, not only should Bellinger not go, this is what reminded me, not only should Bellinger not go to the Angels because he'd be wasting the next decade of his career if he ends up there. But on top of that, for however many years Trout has left, he needs to fit a team that can give him playoff aspirations. I think the Phillies make sense. They need an extra piece. I mean, they've been very close for the last 2 years.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this. I forgot because Trout's a big Eagles guy, and that's like his hometown, right? So
let him finish off in his hometown. I mean, that happens a lot with older players. But also he gets an opportunity to not only go to his hometown, but be on a team that's been successful, a team that could use a center fielder. I mean, Nick Castellanos hasn't been terrible for the Phillies, but he's not consistent, and he's not Mike Trout.
Right.
So
I agree. That's a sleeper kind of move that the Angels really probably should make. That seems obvious now that we talk about it.
So anyway,
I feel like all the exciting things usually typically happen around now. I feel like things are going to die down soon. Christmas is on a Monday, so maybe we get through this week and the weekend before things go quiet again. But we'll see. Hopefully Yamamoto's news will happen very soon. We keep
I was really hoping that it was going to happen during the show.
I know, fingers crossed, maybe. They kept Passing kept saying maybe it's today. I was like, not today. Same with Juan Soto. It happened. They kept saying it's today, and it was like that for 3 days in a row. So
so
who knows?
I mean,
sometime this week, hopefully.
And no matter what I said, it still happened. So.
It's still what? I can't hear you.
It still happened.
It did happen. Why did I tell you?
Did you try to jinx it?
No, I didn't try to jinx it.
Oh. Did you say something that I told you jinxed it?
All I said was that this would be a great tool to have. If they went on for days at a time, that I could distract her. I'd just be like, so what's going on with Soto?
Oh, yeah. There was a day that he was like, what do you want for dinner? And I was like, I have no idea. There was we didn't even sign.
I don't know about Juan Soto.
We did end up signing him that day. That was the day we actually ended up signing him. He went to pool, and then we ended up signing him shortly after he left. But I was like, I don't know. Stop distracting me. I have no idea what you're even saying.
And it wasn't in the middle of the night too that we got Soto?
It wasn't the middle of the night. It was the evening. 8 p.m., 9 p.m.
Definitely before I came home at 11.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. It was. Yes, because I remember he walked in the door. Maybe it was 10 p.m. because he walked in the door and it had been relatively new.
Okay. I just remember being in bed and waking up Laura Grace and being like,
she's
we got Juan Soto, and she's like,
you woke up. You
don't
woke up,
care.
Yeah, so she's like, I care so much about this thing.
On her credit, she woke up and said, "Good job, babe," and then went right to sleep.
Right back to sleep.
She told you, "Good job," like you had something to do with it.
I did.
Put all those good vibes out there.
We had that podcast where we talked about how the Yankees need to do this, the Yankees need to do that, and they did it.
Cashman listened. It was totally us.
Well, hopefully. Sorry, what are you trying to see?
I was trying to see, very important. What time did they announce it? That's all. Oh, I'm going back through my posts to see, because I know I shared when it happened. But Yankees Twitter had an absolute meltdown when Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman left the winter meetings without the Soto deal being done, because everything had been leading up to that point of these are the players, right. And then, oh no, the Yankees say no, and then, Blue Jays are like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna get Soto. But Yankees Twitter had an absolute meltdown. It was about 10:30 p.m. is when Joel Sherman posted.
Okay.
that the deal had been done. December 6th, 10:30.
Yeah, that day I remember. I forgot we were dog sitting that day, and I had a bad migraine, and she always goes like her bedtime's 9 o'clock. So we were both already in bed, so it was an earlier night for me, but typical night for her. And yeah, I just remember that's why it felt in the middle of the night because
it felt so much later. Yeah.
Because I was like asleep, and then I got like my phone buzzed near me. I wasn't fully asleep because of my migraine. Like I couldn't like fully go to bed, but my phone buzzed, and I was like, "Oh, is that? What's this?"
Oh my god! Yeah, that's kind of I'm like, "Oh, it happened!" Yeah. So the little where were you when the Soto trade happened?
Yeah.
To end the podcast. That's a good way.
So hopefully, the next time that we have a podcast, we'll be talking about how we got Yamamoto, and the Mets fans can cry about it more. Hopefully that's what we'll be talking about next time. And you can catch us on that on Instagram and Twitter, Threads. Sorry, at Yanks. At Damn Yanks _pod, and then on Facebook at Damn Yanks pod. Follow us and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify accounts with the Damn Yanks pod to keep up with our podcasts. Hopefully we'll be able to, like I said, about players that the Yankees get and go over more fun off-season things.
Yeah. And thanks to our sister Erin for being in our top 5 Spotify list.
Oh yes,
5%.
Yes.
Sorry, top 5%.
Top 5%.
It's probably like 3 people. But yes, thank you everybody for listening. Erin. And
thank you.
Yeah, we'll be back and hopefully with Yamamoto news.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.